Hello, guys. This is your professor recording our next lecture, and the topic of the lecture is segmentation. Let's see if I can get this darn thing to work here. You never know. The screencast-o-matic. Yay. Okay, so let's just acknowledge a little reality here to start with. It's currently Monday, March, I think it's the 23rd, and as we all know, we're in a very difficult situation as a country, as a world. And as we also know, our whole course has been changed, disrupted. I think we dealt with that very well in our last live class in terms of doing everything we could to plan for the contingency of having to be online for the rest of the term. So this is riding in the New York subway 6 feet apart. These folks are obviously not 6 feet apart, which is going to be a problem these days. This may seem trivial, and it probably is in a way, given everything else that's going on. But nevertheless, we have a class, and we have work to do, and you have learning to do to make sure that you are ready to launch into your careers and be effective and get learning that's useful to you, and that is going to happen. This is just a temporary blip. We will be beyond it, I believe, in a matter of months. And so I'm going to bring up this, I guess, somewhat trivial issue, really the first one to ask ourselves and to think about is how will all of this affect consumer behavior? So if you were running marketing at a business or database marketing at a company right now, B2B or B2C, what kind of planning would you be doing with your team? Probably, I would think, something similar to what we all did in class. I think it was on the 11th. Which is to say, get together a cross-functional team, people from different parts of the company, the people who choose and develop the products, the financial people, marketing people, sales people, people who take orders, customer service. I mean, whatever the key operational areas of the business are, get people together. Make sure you've got a good, diverse group. And get the facts out. Look at your plan for the year, probably first, and say, look, this is where we thought we would be. This is what we wanted to accomplish this year. And then start to get the facts out and discuss consumer behavior. Maybe you start there. Are people going to be shopping as much? Are people going to be traveling as much? What's going to change, for the next 3 to 6 months? And then brainstorm how each of those changes in behavior is going to affect your business, and then adjust your plan accordingly. And this is not a 1 hour planning session. This is probably days worth of planning and giving it your best thinking and pounding things out. Now, one reason I'm bringing it up is that we do have a database project to get done this year. And so I would hope then that on a smaller scale that you guys in your teams will talk about how your project would be affected. Do you want to change the charity you're supporting, for example? I mean, you don't have one product that you have to sell. You can change your mind. That may not be the best idea now if you're fairly far along in things. maybe that's a bad idea, and it's too much going backwards for a number of reasons. But anyway, this class is about dealing with reality as much as possible, and so this is a key piece of reality that we're all facing right now. How will it affect? We talked about how it will affect our class. How will it affect a real world project that we're all going to be doing for the rest of the term? So speaking of how it will affect our class, this is a note I set up on Blackboard, and this is a discussion forum on Blackboard. I just copied it and put it up here. I think I also emailed it to you guys. It's under discussions on Blackboard. It's called Going Forward. And what I'd like to do is just have this be kind of a live, ongoing class discussion, because it just occurs to me that if we've got a really good team here, and a lot of you guys are a lot of smart, good people. So if you have ideas, if you have questions or concerns about how things could be better or about problems that you see, I want to capture those things on this forum so everybody can hear them or see them and have their own ideas about it. I want to keep this teamwork open. In other words, I don't want to necessarily have each of you with a question or concern just send it to me and have me address it. I want to make sure that the class has a chance to see it and be aware of it and have input if they want to. So the way this discussion should work is you should email me first any question or concern or idea or whatever that you have, and then so I'm aware of it, and then once I've responded, you can just go ahead and post it on the discussion forum. I'll put a response and other people can join in the discussion. And okay, so let's keep this thing alive and try to use this. This is the schedule that we went over last time, and here are some of the changes. Of course, on our last class meeting on March 11th in the computer lab, what we did, we didn't talk about quantitative analysis and testing. I don't know what you're doing with Tabasco strategies at this point, but basically we dealt with the rest of the term and what we do. You guys, I know, all worked individually hard on Access with a lot of help from Miss Wu, to whom we are all grateful. You had some team meetings to discuss the project, and that's what we did in the last class. Now, class 8, on 318, we didn't have a class per the direction of FIT. So we missed all this. This involves sending out the mailing, by the way. And so for the 25th class, which is this Wednesday's class, you've been asked to watch a film, and then I am putting together this lecture right now in segmentation, which we're doing now. And by the way, for the film, please participate in the discussion forum again, because we got to use these discussion forums, guys, if we're going to continue to have a real class feeling here and make this online thing work. We've got a really good class, as you know, with a lot of good discussion, and let's not lose that just because we're online. So get into those forums and throw your thoughts out there and respond to other people and kick it around. Now, on the April 1st, we are going to have a midterm. It will be synchronous, meaning it will be during the class hours. If anyone needs a longer time because of a fittable program, just be sure to let me know. And on the 8th of April, that is the spring break, and my understanding is that the school is sticking with the spring break, so no class on April 8th or in that week. Yeah, so it's an open book midterm, and it's set up so that once you send it in, you get your grade and your scores on each question. There are 20 questions. You'll be able to see the answer I wrote, which maybe will give you some learning about where you missed a few things. And then, so April 15th, here we're kind of winding things down with 1 month left at that point. We're I'm gonna give a quarter lecture online about business-to-business database marketing. We're going to talk about some business-to-business customer relationship management software platforms. The biggest and most famous is by far is called Salesforce.com. And we'll take a look at some screenshots, and I've worked in it a fair amount, and maybe some of you have too. And then I want us to work in actually a free B2B CRM platform called HubSpot, which actually we were supposed to talk about earlier on this semester, but I didn't want to split our focus from Access. But we will each log on to HubSpot. It works on Macs and PCs, thankfully. And we're going to kick around a few things in there so you have a little experience with it. It's very likely that when you go to work, you will, depending on your role, you will be using some kind of CRM platform. So particularly if you're in any kind of sales or marketing or whatever kind of role, which I'm sure you will be, particularly in sales, of course. But anyway, I want you to have some sense of what the heck those things are. And then pretty much we'll do our best to just, I'll do lectures on these other topics. And you guys have to be conscious of moving your database project along and trying to get this thing on schedule here so we can do 2 mailings. I guess one thing, I just don't see why we can't do that. So I really hope we can accomplish it. Now, in terms of presenting, obviously there won't be live presentations, but what I'm hoping is that you guys will come up with some kind of way. I've had other online classes do it where you can stick your faces by video on your slide projections, and so I can kind of see you and what you're doing while I go through the slides. And then our final will also be synchronous, and will be up the 13th of May. The lectures will not be synchronous. I'll be posting them, as soon as I can in the week, Mondays, Sunday nights, and you'll have, definitely a few days to, fit it into your schedule. And that's the future as it looks right now. Okay. I don't know how I ended up with those silly dots all over here. By the way, I hope you enjoyed the film of Brexit. I think it's terrific. I think, by the way, Benedict Cumberbatch actually shaved his hairline for this and deserves a lot of credit for that. As a guy with a kind of a high hairline, I certainly respect anybody who subject himself to that for any reason, for the pursuit of art especially. Anyway, it's a good film, and I hope you thought so too. And it's really, as I think I've said, it captures the dark side of what we're doing here. And so please, 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 please finish watching the film. And it's a true story for the most part. And get in on the discussion. And once again, kick in on that. And let's show the lively, provocative, smart class that I know we are in that discussion. And a lot of it has to do with, what we're studying here can be put to kind of a use of bad purposes. And you guys, as you go forward in your lives and your careers, are going to have, I know, stronger ethics than that. And so you need to have some sense of how far you want to go and what you're comfortable with. And once you learn these skills, what will you do with them? Okay, I am going to stop right now and pick up. These segments are in 15-minute segments, as you'll see.